I've just returned from 3 days or 3 nights, 4 days of wonderful painting up the west coast of the Cape coastline. It's flower time in South Africa, wildflower time after the fantastic rains, and we've just had spectacular flower display. So we were staying from Cape Town about 2 hours north in a little place called Paternoster. And there is Cape Columbine Nature Reserve. So 3 friends and myself, we went out for days and days of painting and had an absolutely spectacular time. So to sit there amongst the flowers, wow, you can't believe it. It was just great. I started off with a watercolor of just a general scene around me, just the basic shapes around, and then coming in with a bit more detail, and then with pen work at the end. And the colors I mainly use over here is the lemon yellow, cadmium yellow, scarlet lake, yellow ochres, burnt sienas, things that nice warm sort of colors that go with the colors we see around us. Sap green as well. As you can see, the weather was just awesome. Today I'm going to experiment with Brusho, or this morning anyway, and we'll see what happens. Not much wind, so it shouldn't go all over the place, but this is what I'm looking at, which is just unbelievable. So let's see what happens. We're just below Cape Columbine Lighthouse. And then what you do is you dip your brush into a little bit of Brusho, and first spray the page, of course, and then just flick it on. And it has the most wonderful, wonderful colors. It has lots of different little colors in the Brusho. So when you do flick it on, the so-called black has little bits of blue and orange and all kinds of things in it. So I thought for the wildflowers that this would just be the perfect thing to do. Not much wind, because if you do use it in wind, you could have some very nice happy accidents, which is actually what happened to the sea green color that I put right at the top of your view. That was supposed to be the sea only, and it spread out right into the sky. But while it's still wet, you can come in with a brush. They're sort of like watercolor. It's a watercolor pigment. And you can come with a brush and just make your shapes and play with it. This really is very abstracty compared to what I normally do. But you know, as an artist, it's great to experiment and to learn different things. You can see that the weather was just awesome, and I'd taken my socks and shoes off. The sun was out and it was beautiful temperature. And here I'm just defining different shapes that I want to have in my painting, not really knowing where this is going to go. And a few days ago I got some wonderful bamboo sticks made by my friend Janet Kingwell from the Karoo, and she gave me some of these, and I was experimenting by dipping it into my waterproof ink and then just drawing with it. So you do have to dip it in pretty often, but the shapes are great and very different from any sort of mechanical pen with a fine tip. So you never know exactly what you can get, and you can turn it on its side, get lighter areas and darker areas. And it just has a much more loose graphic look to it. So you can't be too precious with what you're doing. And as I say, not really knowing where this will go. Look at the stiff toes. And this is the result. I decided the sky was a little bit too colorful and came in with white acrylic just to quieten down a bit. But the flowers are just wonderful. The wind was picking up a little bit, and just the movement of the dancing flowers, it's something that you have to see to be believed. So of course I wanted to add the yellow flowers in, and we had views all around us. Just a little watercolor on my Moleskine A5 book. Then some details of the flowers that were directly around me, just to remember them. and of course not forgetting the pink ones. So this is part 1 only. Part 2 will follow next week, as this video would be far too long for all the things and the extra paintings that I would like to add. I hope you've enjoyed it.